All right, waiver wire for this week. If you've been listening all year, you've probably been well taken care of. So we got Juju Smith-Schuster. I had him all over the cover of my video last week. Whoever I have on the cover, you better go grab. If you didn't grab old Juju, then you fucked up. Um, Will Fuller, Paul Richardson, those are some other guys that I've been trying to tell you to go get. You hadn't gone and get, and they're going off. But anyways, quarterbacks basically the same. Jared Goff, Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's got a good matchup against the Jets this week. Case Keenum's got a bye, so that's tough. Andy Dalton will be playing this week. He's playing the Jags. Not a very favorable matchup because pretty good defense, but that's someone that you could start if you need a spot start. And spot starts also. Don't be afraid of Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles has been better as of lately, but I just don't fuck with Blake Bortles, so I would never start him. But if you would trust Blake Bortles, then go ahead. Running backs, Damian Williams is probably the top guy with the fact of Ajayi going over to the Eagles in the trade. Damian Williams is definitely someone that's going to go up on lists, and he's probably a top projected guy this week. Now, I don't know what he's going to be all year. We don't know if other guys are going to be in that running game. They have Kenyon Drake, who they're excited about. Miami is excited about Kenyon Drake. So we'll see that. So both those guys, Damian Williams, add Kenyon Drake. If you're pretty deep at the running back position, just kind of a guy that you can stash for a bit. And Terrence West has started to practice again a little bit, so he'll be coming back in a couple weeks. Terrence West is another good back. Sometimes gets some touches around the end zone. And Wayne Gallman, Matt Breida, DeAndre Washington. Maybe Washington's going to get some more playing time this week. He's got touchdowns in the consecutive weeks. Jarvis Allen. I'm sure Jarvis Allen is gone. Matt Forte, if people don't want Matt Forte because of that three-headed monster backfield, he's a guy he's pretty solid each week. Gets about 6 to 8 points, and then Devontae Booker's another guy. The backfield, the three-headed monster there in Denver, so it's kind of tough. But Booker did get a TD last week, and you can definitely tell that they want to play Booker and they want to get Booker going. Alex Collins is probably not available in leagues, but he's a guy that is available in some. And you can't really trust him long term, but he's a guy you can start a couple weeks here. He had 113 yards last week on the ground. He averages the most yards per carry also this year. But Damian Williams is the big guy this week, I would definitely say, for waiver wire. Tight ends, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, if he's still available. Vernon Davis, with the fact that Jordan Reed had a hamstring injury. I'm sure a lot of people dropped Vernon Davis, 2 weeks ago. If he already wasn't, chosen, because Jordan Reed came back. Jordan Reed scored 2 TDs after his injury, but then Jordan Reed got hurt again. I think he pulled a hamstring. So Vernon Davis definitely will probably get tight end one workload this week. He's a guy you can add. George Kittle, Austin Hooper, some other guys, Tyler Kroft. Hunter Henry, Deion Sims, that's the backup for the Bears since Zach Miller is out for the rest of the year. Hope he gets well soon. And then Bear defense, I still have Bears and Saints on there. They didn't do that great last week, but those are two defenses that I like. Bills, I've been high on the Bills all year, and I think they're a very available team. Like me, I don't have the Bills because I have some other good defenses. Like I did a good job of getting like Seahawks or Steelers defense, and I'm happy with those. But like if you're looking for a defense, if you're tired of playing the guessing game every week, I would Bills would not be a bad option. Chargers, I'm adding Chargers this. They get a good amount of sacks. They create some amount of turnovers. In a time where there's not a lot of defenses to talk about, I'm going to go ahead and put the Chargers on here as a pretty good defense. And then Cowboys have actually played really good. Like the last 3 weeks, they've created a lot of turnovers on the defensive end. Their defense is definitely improving. So, don't be afraid of the Cowboys defense to, start every once in a while if you need a spot start, depending on their matchup. You probably don't like it this week against the Chiefs. Kickers, Matt Prater had 5 field goals last week. If he's available, another good kicker. Cameron Fairbairn, the Texans score tons of points. So he's a good kicker to have. Steven Hauschka. Hauschka's transitioned well over to Buffalo. He's been pretty good for them. Kicks multiple 50-yarders this year. And then Adam Vinatieri. Adam Vinatieri's done good. He's just a veteran. He's been in the league since like '96. So just a vet. Blair Walsh. Blair Walsh is he had a pretty good week. I mean, Seahawks scored 41 points. Seahawks moved the ball pretty well. So I just kind of was looking at it like, yeah, you could probably add Blair Walsh and be pretty successful. He's been pretty good this year. So wide receivers, wide receivers are tough every week. Jamison Crowder, maybe people kept him in leagues. I drafted him pretty early, I think 6th or 7th round. And I dropped him already. I was really unhappy. I think because how early I drafted him was why I was as upset. But I'll take Jamison Crowder. I would take Jamison Crowder as like the top guy to add. If Paul Richardson and Juju Smith-Schuster is not there. But I like Juju Smith-Schuster. I like Paul Richardson for sure if those guys are available in leagues. And then Jamison Crowder, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's just an under radar guy that's been kind of just floating under the radar all year. He's honestly Goff's favorite receiver. So, if you can honestly pick up Goff and Kupp and try to work some magic there. Kenny Stills, Kenny Stills is another good wideout. Had a tough week last week with Matt Moore at quarterback. We'll see how it goes this week. Sunday night game. J.J. Nelson, if he's available, that's kind of a tough one without and having Carson Palmer, so I don't know if I like him as much anymore. Rory Anderson continues to score touchdowns every once in a while. Trey McBride has kind of become Mitch Trubisky's favorite wide receiver over there for the Bears, so you could pick him up. Demarcus Robinson, a guy out of Florida who's done pretty good for the Chiefs this year. Josh Johnson, Seth Roberts, But yeah, that's not a whole lot in the waiver wire. Deontay Thompson is another. Well, that kind of sucks now because Kelvin Benjamin's there. But yeah, not a whole lot waiver wire wise this week.